My name is Kyle Mendenhall and I'm the executive chef at the Kitchen Cafe. And today I'm going to prepare for you a dish that we have on our menu right now using some grilled fruit. It's a grilled apricot bruschetta with Gioia burrata and a little bit of fresh mint and saba. So the first thing you want to do, that's one of the most important things, is you want to pick your fruit when it's in its prime. It definitely needs to be at the height of its ripeness in order to have it be able to be pitted easily, and also so that you get the sugars developed so that you can get a nice caramelization when it goes on the grill. So some things that you're looking for are you don't want the fruit to be too hard. That would suggest that it's slightly underripe. And you don't want it to be too soft, which would also suggest that it's overripe. So somewhere in between. And a good way using apricots is if you take your thumbs in the beginning and you pull it apart, it should pull apart relatively easy, but still retain its structure. And the seed, the pit, should actually come out really easy. If it's stuck in there really hard, then that means the fruit's probably underripe. And the same thing is true for peaches as well as apricots. Another thing that I like to do is when you have nice fruit, sometimes it's a little bit better to use a knife and actually score the fruit in half along the seam, and then it should be very easy to peel out. And if you'll notice, when you cut, you get a nice smooth surface, and that's actually going to be beneficial for throwing it on the grill, less chance of it sticking, essentially. So once we've got our apricots halved and the pit's taken out of it, we're going to combine a handful of those, enough for, we'll just be doing one order for today. To that, we're going to add just a little bit of olive oil, just enough to coat it and also to help prevent some sticking. We do like to season our fruit as well, particularly in this application because it's more of a savory bruschetta that we'll be making today. And just coat that nicely, mix it around. Nice even coating of olive oil and salt. So once it's evenly coated, now it's time to put the fruit on the grill. And today we have a small flat grill that goes over some burners, which is great and very similar to something you can do at home. But it's essentially the same process on a gas grill or you know, a charcoal grill, anything like that. So it is important that when cooking these stone fruits on the grill, that you start with the pitted side down. That's because you have a flat surface and you're going to get better grill marks. And so the grill definitely needs to be hot enough where it'll start caramelizing those sugars before it cooks the fruit so much that it kind of turns into a mush. So it does need to be hot, and what we're looking for here is this seared dark grill marks that imply and show that the sugars in the fruit are caramelizing. And that's also really essential because that's the flavor that we're going for. So while our fruit is grilling, I'm going to cut some toast for the bruschetta. And here at the kitchen we use a Falone loaf from Udi's. So I'll get that going. So for our bread, I'm going to lightly brush it with olive oil. Again, it's for the flavor and it's also to help prevent some sticking. And it also helps to make the bread not quite as tough. You don't want to fiddle with the fruit too much once you've placed it on the grill, but I am going to start to check and just see where we're how we're looking. So you can see there's some really nice caramelization starting. And at this point, in order for them not to get too dark, I'm going to just start flipping them over. And we will also grill the backside just a little bit. And I think when you're using nice fruits, in particularly peaches and apricots, in the grilling application, it's not nearly as important that you remove the skin. Peaches, because they're larger, are a little bit easier, but it doesn't really affect the dish all that much in texture and taste. So then once the fruit has some nice marks on it and it's caramelized, it's time for it to come off the grill. Don't want to leave it on there for too much longer after you flipped it over, because it will start to break down the structure of the fruit. So what I've done here is I've just put all of the grilled fruit into a small bowl, and I'm going to then add a little bit of fresh lemon juice to that, and just a little bit, because you don't want an apricot to taste like a lemon. You just want a little bit of acidity to help brighten the flavor up. So once I've done that, I'm going to put just a small drizzle of olive oil. And then really what's beneficial is to then wrap the fruit while it's still warm. What you're going to get is some of that steam coming off of it, and the moisture trapped by the plastic will then actually create us a little liqueur, a little bit of apricot juice that we can then impart on the dish. So while those apricots are cooling a little bit and some of the liquid is getting pulled out of them, I'm just going to pick a little bit of fresh mint. Tarragon is also a very nice herb in this application. You want something that's aromatic, not very savory, so things like mint, tarragon are very good options for this style of bruschetta. So with the mint, you're going to want to pick the leaves and you're going to line them up closely, and we're going to do a technique called a chiffonade, which is just a very thin strip. And it's important when you're cutting mint that you don't, you want to do as few cuts as possible, because the oils that are going to come out of it, if you have several cuts on it, are going to turn it dark and black, and it'll actually have more of a cut grass flavor than it will a nice fresh mint flavor. So our peaches have kind of, or I'm sorry, our apricots have kind of steamed out for a minute here. What I'm going to do is then I'm going to add the mint to it. And I'm just going to give it a good toss so that the mint and the oil and the juice that's come out of it is mixed well with the fruit. And then essentially from that point you're ready to start plating. I mean, this is also something very easy to do at home. You can you know, set grilled bread out and your cooked peaches and a bowl of burrata, and people can combine it themselves, or you can individually plate them. Here at the restaurant, obviously, we individually plate them. So I'm going to set up our toast and our bruschetta with burrata here. And the burrata, if you don't know, is a very excellent cheese that's similar to a very soft, creamy mozzarella. So we have our grilled toast and our burrata, and I'm going to add our grilled apricots to that with mint, a little bit of salt, a little fresh lemon, and olive oil. So we have our completed bruschetta here. And what we're going to do to finish the dish is add a little bit of saba. If you have a hard time finding saba, you can also use a reduced balsamic. What you want is a vinegar that's a little bit sweeter. Remember, we do have a little bit of lemon juice in there, so you don't want to get the bruschetta too acidic. So once you've plated your bruschetta, a good way to gauge how much saba or balsamic vinegar to use on the dish without ruining all of your hard work here is to just take a spoon and pour a little bit into a spoon. What that does, it just gives you a little bit more control for how much you're actually going to let go on the dish. And there you have the completed grilled apricot bruschetta with Gioia burrata on toast.